Greetings, everybody. It is your friendly neighborhood mailman, Trojan Pair, and I have a new week on. This week on is the next in the line of videos from Mike Jevons' Week On series. Last time we did Slim Fast. That was quite a interesting one. It was a while ago, but we're ready to get kicking with some new ones. And the next one in line is Dump Dinners. A week on Dump Dinners featuring Cathy Mitchell, the cookbook. If you want to know more about Dump Dinners, you can watch Jevons' Week On series as well as his video that he did on infomercialism about Dump Dinners. Specifically about Cathy Mitchell and what her wild claims are through her infomercials, or how simple she makes things appear, again, as seen on TV. This is actually going to be a pretty easy week on, though, to be honest, because number one, this is not a week on where we are going to have to do anything other than just eat food from this book for 7 straight days. And specifically, dinners. So breakfast, lunch, anything around it. That was the rules that Jevons set forth on it. Now, because Jevons actually gained weight as a result of it, I kind of want to do a little bit of a case study with this, where do the foods that are going to be featured in this have anything to do with his weight gain, or was it primarily due to the fact that he just ate whatever he wanted around breakfast, lunch, and afterwards as well? Notice he never complained once about being hungry because he could eat whatever he wanted. He just had to have this stuff for dinner. So I'm going to actually have a somewhat modest breakfast and lunch and overall mealtime around the dinners. Very similar, calorie-wise at least, to other week-ons that I've done, like the Special K diet, the baby food diet, the last one I did, which was a Slim Fast diet. So those sort of diets that we did centered around the idea of having something light at breakfast and at lunch and not really eating that much until dinner. And your dinner was supposed to be a reasonable meal. Well, we're going to find out if this is a reasonable meal to be having at dinner. Because if I do that with what I have, then I should probably maintain or even lose weight. And so that's going to be kind of the analysis that we find out by the end of it. So this is not a diet, obviously. This is just an experiment in, is this food going to actually cause you to gain weight, even if you're eating reasonably otherwise? And is this food also any good? And so I'm going to pick several options from here that I think mostly are all going to be different than what he had. So you'll get my responses to meals based on things that he didn't even have. So you can watch his series, as always, in the link in the description. I always share that for his week on, and then you can watch this one and see how I think of some of the other meals from that. Now, of course, there are going to be some modifications to the cookbook because we are pescatarian, and we are also, me and Gail are both doing this, or at least I'm fixing the food for both of us, and Gail has to have gluten-sensitive products. So we can't do any like breads unless it's got like gluten-free or just not made at the very least with wheat and gluten in it. So that's going to be the one modification. Also, something I noticed about this is she doesn't really do seafood. She has a couple of shrimp options, and that's about it. It's just quite interesting. No fish, lots of beef, lots of chicken, Funny thing, our first meal tonight will be, on this first day, something seafood based. I'll get to that in a second, but first, I'm going to show you brief clips of what happened earlier today, which is number one, my weigh-in, where I announced that my weight is
238,
which is pretty high compared to what I think you've seen my weight at any point in these videos. So it looks like it's about time to get on a little bit of a lighter calorie meal selection during the day. And for that, breakfast this morning, I had the following.
cranberry juice, 130 calories,
Green tea, blueberry oatmeal, 180 calories. And then at lunch, I also had Fiber One bar, 150 calories. And that's all I've had today, and that is a grand total of 460 calories for the day. Very light, very modest. And now we're about ready to get started with our first meal. Let's get cooking. I am now in the kitchen getting ready for dinner, and for dinner I am concocting two different things today because one complements the other very well. And unlike, again, as I said with Jevons doing his sides that were of his own accord, I'm making them from the book. So, what are the two items? First off, you have easy anti-pesto finger sandwiches. Here are the ingredients for that. You have your baguette. Now I'm only using one of those, but I just brought out the whole thing of it. So you've got baguette, and of course we've got a gluten-free baguette, cream cheese. This is sun-dried tomatoes, artichoke hearts, some of the green pesto. You've got Parmesan, grated Parmesan, and then baby spinach, or just spinach. I think it specifically says baby spinach, but I don't think it really matters all that much. Then, we're also, as our big one, doing the shrimp and corn chowder. And the shrimp and corn chowder has cooked shrimp, specifically, a can of corn, got milk. I'm using almond milk for this, chopped chives, some Morton's Nature Season, which is a seasoning blend. Interesting. I've never heard of this before, but this is what the cookbook specifically asked for. And they wanted the book said a condensed potato. I'm doing this soup mix, so I'm going to be a little different with it. The reason being because I needed something that would actually be gluten-friendly, as the ones that I'm sure she was planning on the recipe was Campbell's, but Campbell's is not gluten-friendly. So this works for that. And so we're going to start getting everything ready to go, get everything prepped, because each and every item that has to be prepped, for example, I need to get the baguettes ready. These have to be frozen before time, so I need to get my baguette ready before we start. I need to make sure that the shrimp are ready as well and properly thawed, and then we'll start doing everything else. Alright, quick little progress report. The gluten-free bread baguette is done. We're just waiting till we get further along on this, which is the first step in the process, which is to add the milk, the corn, and the potato soup, which in this case because of the dimensions of it, I just needed half of the pack. We'll save the other pack for another day. And then, of course, I've also prepped the pesto and cream cheese. Mix that together. That's going to go on the bread. And the next thing that I will do is I will be thawing this out, getting this ready, because it's going to be needed on the next step. This will have to simmer for 10 minutes once it boils, which it is doing that very soon. And then we'll give you another update. Okay, the soup was way too thick for what I was using, so I had to add a few more cups of water to it to get it a little bit better. I just recently put in a little bit more because it was still a little too thick. But we're about at the point where we're going to take the shrimp. It's about half pound or so of that. We've got our 1/4 of a cup of chives, and then we're going to put about a teaspoon of that into there, let it cook for 5 more minutes, and then we'll get started working on mixing up the baguette. The baguette is going to get this spread on it. It's going to get this and all this on it. So that's going to be all the contents of it. And then once we're done with that, I'll cut it up into 2 separate pieces, and we will be ready to serve. Corn chowder looks really good. The baguette looks good. Now, her recommendation was to take the insides out. I did not want to do that. I wanted the bread that was inside. To me, that's like one of the best parts. So, there you go, completely constructed. Now is the time to see how good it is. Let's do the chowder first, since that is the star of the show, so to speak. This was the main course. Here we go. Hot. Like that, pretty good. A little hot, but didn't even add any seasonings to it. Really good. Now, let's try our little anti-pesto sandwich. I will say the imitation bread is a little harder than even a baguette would be. I think the ingredients are all there, but you know, you work with what you got, right? So probably would be better if it was like, you know, regular baguette instead of the gluten-free brand, because I actually think, from what I can taste on the interior, really good. So these are 2 pretty good options. With the chowder, I had to add a bunch of water, about 3 cups or so, for the consistency, because it was not enough with that particular brand of mix I was using, but it still turned out great. So day 1 is a winner. All right, as I wrap up this day, few thoughts coming through on everything food-wise. Each individual item was good on their own. Together, it was extremely rich combination. Very full from it. Gail was a little bloated. Stomach was not too thrilled with her. I think it's just the richness of all the food and whatnot. But I think the ingredients, the recipes are good concepts. And what I like to do with stuff sometimes is be able to take the fundamentals of the recipes and just modify some of the other things about them. Like, for example, 1/4 of a cup of chives seems like an extremely large amount of chives to have in the soup. It wasn't that large of a soup, so I don't quite understand why there had to be that many chives. It was fine, but I also didn't put in the full 1/4 of a cup. It was probably more like 1/5 of a cup. So yeah, I would prefer to like just kind of eyeball a lot of those measurements in some cases. Obviously, because of the gluten in condensed potato soup that was available, which I'm pretty sure she was going for like Campbell's or something like that, I had to use something different, and so that required me adding additional cups of water to it. But it's the only way that I could make that work. It was good overall. Just like I said, I think that baguette, you could probably do it on like some gluten-free bread or even bread and make it as a toast and do it that way. I think that would be good. Just to do that as like a sort of little lunch sort of thing. And we still have a lot of the stuff for that. So I might do that in a future day as well. Still, both recipes are good recipes, but I would definitely make modifications to a few of the things on there. And also, it really wasn't that easy to do. I mean, it was easy, but then there was some complicated things, which also includes a heavy amount of cleanup because of how messy it is to try to construct the bread and stuff like that. That's one thing that they get you on with that. It's like, yeah, preparation's nice, but then you get a lot of cleanup. And having those large pots definitely contributed to that. So we'll see how things go the rest of the day. Tomorrow should be a simpler meal, and we'll show you what that is tomorrow.